down, lean on my shoulder. Come, let your problems be whole world away. And if you feel alone, I'm here to catch you. I got these open arms, and then you'll be safe. I can be your brother. I can be your friend. I can be another and a hold until the end. You might not have all the answers. You might feel broken. We're in this all together. We'll find our way. And if you think you lost the meaning, and if you think you done it wrong, I'm always here to tell you you'll be okay. I can be your brother. I can be your friend. I can be another hand to hold till the end. I can be your brother. I can be your friend. I can be another hand to hold until the end. Hold on, yeah, I know you're tired. Be strong, it only lasts a little while. Oh, child, you're walking through the fire. You're not alone, you're not alone, you're not alone. Won't you let me be? Let me be your brother. Let me be your friend. Let me be another and hold till the end. Let me be your brother. Let me be your friend. Let me be another and hold till the end. Let me be your brother. Let me be your friend. Let me be another and hold till the end. Let me be your brother. Let me be your friend. Let me be another and hold till the end. I can be your brother. I can be your friend. I can be another and a hold until the end.
Be the people, hey now. Got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. Be the people, yeah. Got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. You may have the black blood, or you may have the white blood, but we all are living on blood, so don't nobody slip into the mud.
So there's nowhere to go. Oh no, you made your choice. Now it's up to me to bow out gracefully. Though you hold the key, but baby, whenever you call me, I'll be there. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be around. I knew just what to say. Now I found out today that all the words had slipped away. But I know there's always a chance. A tiny spark will remain, yeah. And sparks turn into flames. And love can burn once again. But I know you know, whenever you call me, I'll be there. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be around. Yeah. Whenever you call me, I'll be there. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Even if I have to crawl, I'll be there. I'll be around. Just call me on the phone. I'll be there. I'll never leave you alone. I'll be there. Just call on the name. I know you know. I'll be around. I'll be skipping and jumping. I'll be there. I'll be a ripping and running. I'll be there. I'll be calling out your name and let you know. Come lay your burdens down, lean on my shoulder. Come let your problems be whole world away. And if you feel alone, I'm here to catch you. I got these open arms, and then you'll be safe. I can be your brother. I can be your friend. I can be another and a hold until the end. You might not have all the answers. You might feel broken. We're in this all together. We'll find our way. And if you think you lost the meaning, and if you think you done it wrong, I'm always here to tell you you'll be okay. I can be your brother. I can be your friend. I can be another hand to hold till the end. I can be your brother. I can be your friend. I can be another hand to hold until the end. Hold on, yeah, I know you're tired. Be strong, it only lasts a little while. Oh, child, you're walking through the fire. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. I can be your brother, I can be your friend. I can be another and a hope until the end.
To make the world go round, got to make the world now. We the people, yeah. Got to make the world go round, got to make the world now. You may have the black blood, or you may have the white blood, but we all are living on blood, so don't nobody slip into the mud, 'cause we the people, you tell them, got to make the world go round, got to make the world now. We the people, well, got to make the world go round, got to make the world now.
Burn in the neck, bad cigarette. Everybody's wet. What you give is what you get.
Hot pants and style, don't let our world go wild. Mama's youngest child is learning fast. Got to get up as soon as you lay down. Don't get nothing from a blessing around. We the people, hey y'all, got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. We the people, got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. Ow! We the people, remember y'all, got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. We the people, got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now.
Burn in the neck, bad cigarette. Everybody's wet. What you give is what you get.
Hot pants and style, don't let our world go wild. Mama's youngest child is learning fast. We the people, remember y'all, got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. You and me now, all right, yeah. Got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. We the people, jump on, y'all. Got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. We the people, well, we got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. We the people, every which way, ain't nobody get away. It's a great way back to place. We the people, we got to do it now. Got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. We the people, yeah. Got to make the world go round. Got to make the world now. We the people.
I hope tomorrow will bring better you, better me. I know that we'll show this world we got more we could be. So you should never give up on your hopes and your dreams. You gotta get up, get out, get
there. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be around. I knew just what to say. Now I found out today that all the words had slipped away. But I know there's always a chance. A tiny spark will remain, yeah. And sparks turn into flames. And love can burn once again. But I know you know, whenever you call me, I'll be there. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be around. Yeah. Whenever you call me, I'll be there. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Even if I have to crawl, I'll be there. I'll be around. Just call me on the phone. I'll be there. I'll never leave you alone. I'll be there. Just call on the name. I know you know. I'll be around. I'll be skipping and jumping. I'll be there. I'll be a ripping and running. I'll be there. I'll be calling out your name to let you know. I'll be around.
Good evening, and welcome to Chair Phyllis Randall's annual State of the County Address. In 2015, when seeking the office of Chair at Large, Chair Randall promised that if elected, she would move the state of the county to the boardroom, the people's room, televised and webcasts for all to see. So again, I say welcome. I'm Valerie P. Sierra, the Executive Director of Loudon Cares, and I'm your MC for this evening. Simply put, Loudon Cares connects people, those that want to help and those that need help. During COVID, we partnered with Catholic Charities and our faith-based partners to help distribute rent and utility assistance for those adversely affected by this crisis. In October of 2021, we took over the project exclusively. To date, this collaborative community effort has been able to distribute over $1.57 million in assistance for more than 900 families. But we are only one of hundreds of local nonprofits that support our community every day, and only 5 of thousands of nonprofit professionals. Professionals helping to feed, clothe, and care for our families. Professionals helping the elderly, our children, and those needing an extra hand. Professionals caring for our animals, our environment, and advocating and providing funding for our causes. We are blessed to have these organizations working alongside our county government to help make Loudon County truly a place we can all work, live, and enjoy. To find out more about how you can lend a hand to our nonprofits, visit www.volunteer.loudoncares.org. Before we go any further, I'd like to introduce our elected officials and special guests that have joined us today here in the People's Room. Senator Jennifer Boysko, representing Senate District 33. Delegate Delegate David Reed, representing House District 32. Delegate Wendy Goditis, representing House District 10. Delegate Suhas Subramaniam, representing House District 87. Delegate Candy King, representing House District 2. Buda Bibarai, Loudoun County Commonwealth Attorney. Vice Chair Karan Sains, Sterling District Supervisor. Kristen Umstadt, Leesburg District Supervisor. Michael R. Turner, Ashburn District Supervisor. Caleb Kirshner, Catoctin District Supervisor. Julie Brisman, Algonquian District Supervisor. Andrea Bailey, Prince William County Board of Supervisors. Roger Vance, Mayor of Hillsborough. Bridge Littleton, Mayor of Middleburg. Quasi Frazier, Mayor of Percival. Michelle Davis Younger, Mayor of Manassas. Derek Wood, Mayor of Dumfries. Monet Nickerson, Vice Mayor of Dumfries. Tony Quintana, Lovettville's Town Council Member. Aaron Rayner, Percival Town Council Member. Carrie Nacy, Leesburg Council Member. Zach Cummings, Leesburg Council Member. Teresa Coates Ellis, Manassas City Council Member. Tim Hemstreet, County Administrator and Clerk to the Board. Leo Rogers, County Attorney. Charles Yudd, Deputy County Administrator. Keith Johnson, Chief of Loudoun County Combined Fire and Rescue System. Greg C. Brown, Chief of Leesburg Police Department. Rachel Raybach, representing Senator Tim Kaine, Virginia's 11th District. Ann Fawn, representing U.S. Senator Mark Warner. Tammy Davis, representing Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton. And Mariah Bowman, Chief of Staff, Delegate Wendy Goditis. All right, moving on.
Supervisor Sylvia.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Supervisor Sylvia Glass from the Broad Run District.
We have two school board members. Two Sarisa and Andrew Hoyler.
I'm sorry?
Two Sarisa and Andrew Hoyler.
Teresa.
And Harris Teresa. I'll just say, we have a two
Thank you.
Sarisa, Loudoun County School Board, Andrew Hoyler, Loudoun County School Board, Harris and Debbie, Loudoun County School Board.
Thank you for the assist. See, we're a team. You see how that works? All right, so next up, singing our national anthem this evening is an amazing young woman, Kirsten Engel. Kirsten was raised in Waterford, Virginia, and graduated from Woodgrove High School in 2018. She has been an active volunteer firefighter EMT with Loudoun County Fire and Rescue since she was 16, and currently volunteers with the Leesburg Volunteer Fire Company. Kirsten is a recent graduate of the Virginia Military Institute with a Bachelor's of Arts in Economics and Business. She is a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army and will be attending Armor Officers Training School at Fort Benning Army Base in Columbus, Georgia, next April. Please stand and join me in welcoming Ms. Engel.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You all may be seated. Thank you, Kirsten. That was amazing, and thank you so much for your service. Now for a very special treat. If you know my friend Chair Randall, you know she loves two things: spending time with young people and music. So it shouldn't be a surprise that tonight she is marrying those two loves. With us tonight are a group of talented students from Rockridge High School, singing the signature song from one of Chair Randall's favorite musicals. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Alexander Hamilton.
How does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by Providence, impoverished and squalor, go up to be a hero and a scholar?
$10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14 they placed him in charge of a trading charter.
Every day while slaves were being slaughtered and carted away across the waves, he struggled and kept his guard up. Inside he was longing for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, and barter.
Then a hurricane came, devastation reigned. Our man saw his future dripping down the drain. Put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain, and he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain. Word got around, they said, this kid is insane, man. Took up a collection just to send them to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget from what you came, and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name?
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait, just you wait.
When
When he was 10, his father split, full of it, debt-ridden. 2 years later, see Alex in his mother bedridden, half dead, sitting in their own sick, the scent thick, and Alex got better, but his mother went.
Moved in with the cousin committed suicide. Left him with nothing but ruined pride. Something new inside, a voice saying, Alex, you gotta fend for yourself. He started retreating and reading every treatise on the shelf.
Nothing left to do for someone less astute. He would have been dead or destitute without a cent of restitution. Started working, clocking for his late mother's landlord. Training sugar cane and rum and all the things he can't afford. Screaming for every book he can get his hands on. Planning for the future, see him now as he stands on the bow of a ship, headed for a new land. In New York, you can be a new man.
Just you wait. Just you wait. Just you wait. We are waiting in the wings for you. Never back down, never let me take your time. Alexander Hamilton, America sings for you. Will they know what you overcame? Will they know you know that game? The world will never be the same.
Ship is in the harbor, now see if you can spot 'em. Another immigrant coming up from the bottom. His enemies, the shortest drop, America forgot 'em.
Fought with him. I died for him.
And me, I'm the damn fool that shot him. There's a million things I haven't done, but just you. What's your name, man?
Alexander Hamilton.
Okay, that was amazing. So many words. Thank you so much. One more round of applause for Rockridge High School. Now coming to the stage to introduce Chair Randall is her friend and colleague, the Vice Chair of the Loudon County Board of Supervisors, elected in 2015 and re-elected in 2019, a Loudon County native, Vice Chair Karan Saints.
Well, before I get into my remarks, usually I joke, I always hate speaking after Chair Randall, but how do I speak after that performance? They did a good job. Give it a round of applause for one more time for Rockridge. So good evening, Loudon. I'm Karan Saints, the Vice Chair. Tonight, I have the honor introducing Chairwoman Phyllis J. Randall. Phyllis was elected Chair-at-Large of the Loudon County Board of Supervisors in November 2015, a historic election as she became the first person of color in Virginia's history to be elected Chair of a county board. She was later re-elected as Chair in 2019. As Chair-at-Large, she represents Loudon on various regional, state, and national bodies. And this is just to name a few, because if I took the time to name them all, we'll be here all night long. She is the Chair of the full Northern Virginia Transportation Authority, NVTA, and the Chair of the NVTA Governance and Personnel Committee. She also currently serves as a member of the National Association of Counties, that's NACO, Health and Human Resources Committee, and founding member of the NACO Economic Mobility Leadership Network. She's also a member of the Virginia Association of Counties, VACO Health and Human Resources Subcommittee, and a member of the Washington Metropolitan Council of Governments COG Board of Directors, and on the DC Statehood Subcommittee. In June of 2018, Chair Randall was selected as one of only 25 women in the whole country to be elected and to be included, in the 2019 class of Governing Magazine's Women in Government Leadership Program. In addition, in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021, the citizens of Loudon voted Chair Randall their favorite public official, an honor which she is most humbled by and proud of. We haven't gotten the results yet for 2022, so stay tuned. My profession, Chair Randall, is a mental health therapist. I can say firsthand she's definitely used her skill set often to keep us on track, given all the characters and the personalities we have had on the last two boards. And we are some characters and definitely have some personalities. She and her husband, Thaddeus, also known as TW, live in Loudon and have been here since 2003 and are the proud parents of two sons, LaShawn and Aaron. I met Phyllis many years ago at a Northern Virginia Urban League event, and since then I've only grown more inspired and motivated by her drive and her spirit. I'm truly honored to have campaigned and served with her on the board and to be able to call her a dear friend. If you know Phyllis, you know she loves being the chair of the board and takes the position very seriously. I often joke with her about how she over-prepares. Not only is she a policy wonk that deep dives into all the materials, deep dives into all matters that affect Loudon, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the United States, but she's also the kind of person who, even though she knows the material and exactly what to say, she will study and practice multiple times just to make sure that everything is perfect. In our first campaign together, I used to joke with her because everybody would go home for the night, done their prep work and everything. She would still be there until 11:30, midnight at night, going over her materials over and over and over again. And this is about after we've done maybe 5 or 6 debates and seminars and answering questions. So by that time, you know your material in and out. But she would still stay into the office, work hard, and make sure she's prepared, ready to go. I can honestly say there's no one who outworks Phyllis J. Randall. So Loudon, please know that we have a fighter leading us. From overcoming a hearing issue early in her life to living with one kidney and the numerous other challenges in between that she has transcended, everything about Phyllis screams strength, courage, and perseverance. And here she is today, a history maker and the chair of the 3rd largest county in Virginia. Before I wrap up, I want to take a moment to let you all in on some things you may not know about Chair Randall. She was born in Germany on a military base, to a military family, of course. She's the second of 7 children. She eats about a pound of popcorn a week. That's no joke. And if she knows if she knows you're flying out of Chicago, she's going to put in her special request to get that Garrett's popcorn. That's correct. So do not come back from Chicago without some Garrett's for her. Or she'll let you have it. Her favorite colors are red and gold, and she loves dogs, but is definitely afraid of any sort of rodent. After just 90 minutes of labor, Phyllis gave birth to her son, Aaron, in the hospital elevator because they didn't reach the delivery floor on time. And the way she says it, there's actually a gentleman who was waiting for the elevator. The elevator doors opened up. She was given the delivery, and the gentleman said, "I'll catch the next one." She's a lover of musicals, her favorite being Roger and Hammerstein's The King and I. And I can also say, this was just presented by the Rockridge group, Hamilton is another one of her favorites. Before every board meeting, she's walking around the office with her headphones, blasting Hamilton, singing along, and again, preparing, studying, ready to go for the meeting. That's when she's getting in her zone. She also enjoys singing, and this is the funny part here, even though it's not her strong suit. If you have ever heard it with your own ears, then you understand what I mean. Finally, one of my favorite things about Phyllis is that she is genuinely happy when good things happen to other people. Her motto is, "I'll celebrate always what God gives to others. Their blessings are different than what he has for me." And I think that quote alone sums up so much about Phyllis as a person and a leader. I said it once and I'll say it again. It has been and continues to be an absolute honor and privilege to serve along Phyllis. I don't think we could have a better captain steering our ship. With that, will everyone please stand and join me in welcoming our chairwoman, Phyllis J. Randall.
Please sit down. Please sit down. Well, first of all, thank you all for coming out. And I always say for a couple of things. One, people always say they're going to save the best for last. I never do that. I save the best first, and the best for me are the people who are sitting over here. That is, thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you as my husband. My sister, Cindy. Cindy, raise your hand. Kyle Petrero. If you know Kyle and you know the story, you know how important he is to me. And where's Tylen? Tylen, why are you back there? That's my godson, Tylen, who's also a LCPS teacher who belonged in this seat up here. I don't know why you're back there, but that's okay. A couple other things. I want to thank the Young Kings movement for being here tonight and being our ushers. Thank you, gentlemen. I want to thank my staff who works incredibly, incredibly hard to help me put the State of the County together. My chief of staff joined me last year right at this time. He came in 2 weeks before the State of the County, and he's been rolling with me strong ever since. So Matt Rogers, would you please stand up? Also, somewhere in the room is Daniel Campbell, Sarah Tuggle, and Laura Tocroni. There they are. They have been amazing. And finally, as always, I want to thank the county staff because we just don't have, there's not a better county staff anywhere in the world. I really do believe that. I really do. So before I bring up Ray DePesce to give us, say the Pledge of Allegiance for us, I do want to say one thing. After the shooting yesterday, I actually considered counseling the State of the County. I really did because I just thought, what do you do with that? And I was back and forth and back and forth. I decided not to in the end because, you know, I do want to tell you all how the county is doing. But I also decided to do one more thing. I want us to not have a moment of silence. I want us to have a whole minute of silence. And as we're in this minute, really feel how long this is and how long that was for those children yesterday, the ones that did make it out, the ones that didn't make it out. So if you join me, please, we're going to have a minute of silence. Thank you. That was a long time, wasn't it? It felt like a long time. So thank you. I do have one more introduction, although she hates this. She just hates this. My best friend has been my best friend for years. She keeps me on track. She's my 2 a.m. person. She is my caller in the middle of the night. Want to have her in the dugout with me. She is my ace. She is my girl. I love her so much. Sahar, will you stand up, please? Mr. Ray DePesce is the commander of VFW 1177. He has come today, and he is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, sir, for being with us today. Over the past year, there have been quite a few people, for quite a few reasons, who have felt the need to highlight what they think they know about Loudon. While I would like to assume all of those people had the best of intentions, it's likely some may have had other, less commendable motives for making Loudon the center point of their attention. Having lived in Loudon for almost 30 years, having raised 2 sons here, been involved in our public schools as a member of various PTOs and PTAs, having been a room mom for years, spent hundreds of hours in our schools, and chaired the Minority Student Achievement Advisory Committee. Having supported my spouse as he started 2 small businesses in Loudon, having worshiped, volunteered, and been active in just about every aspect of life in Loudon County, and having been chair for the past 7 years, I believe I may be just a bit more qualified to tell Loudon's story than some of the people who, with dubious agendas, have been talking about our county. Loudon's story is the story of a county whose response to the COVID-19 pandemic was one of the most efficient and effective in the nation. Sadly, Loudon lost 384 souls in COVID. While we recognize and remember every single Loudon resident who is no longer with us, we should also recognize that, according to the Virginia Department of Health, adjusted for population, Loudon lost fewer residents to COVID than any other health district in Virginia. We owe an enormous debt of gratitude to hundreds of county staff and volunteers for Loudon's effective, compassionate response to this health crisis. They stepped up, they stepped in, and they did so often at great potential for their own safety. Collectively, they worked tens of thousands of hours serving Loudon citizens. Our economic response was no less remarkable. Despite the COVID pandemic, Loudon's economy fared better than almost any other in the country. In fact, according to U.S. News and World Report, Loudon has the strongest economy in the nation. Post-pandemic, Loudon's unemployment rate is 2.2%, which is 1.3% lower than our pre-pandemic unemployment rate. Our office vacancy rate is just 8.4%, and remarkably, at over $150,000, Loudon's household median incomes remains one of the highest in the nation. We are $70,000 above the median household income in the Commonwealth of Virginia and $82,000 above the national median income. In addition, Loudon continues to retain our AAA bond rating. So many of our economic successes in the county can be credited to Buddy Reiser and his devoted staff in our ED department. Buddy, who has been named a tech titan 6 times by Washingtonian Magazine and one of the 50 most influential Virginians 5 times by Virginia Business Magazine, was also recently named to the Washington Business Journal's Power 100 as one of the most influential business people in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Understanding the prestige and professional capabilities Buddy brings to our ED department enables one to fully grasp why this chapter in Loudon's story is so successful. Like every other department in Loudon, ED remained open throughout the COVID pandemic. But Loudon, your county government didn't simply economically survive the pandemic, we adapted and we prevailed. During the last 2 years, Loudon's ED department assisted in dispersing COVID CARES and ARPA grant money to the tune of $21 million. That money allowed businesses to remain open, keep the lights on, and pay their employees. In addition, after realizing women and minority-owned businesses were not accessing the needed one-time revenue stream from the federal government, Buddy and his team specifically reached out to those communities to ensure they were aware of grant opportunities. That effort resulted in approximately $12 million in federal grant money being dispersed to minority and women-owned businesses. More importantly, the time and effort Mr. Reiser and his team dedicated to outreach resulted in higher awareness of county government offerings and increased involvement in our commissions, committees, and boards. Moreover, Loudon Chamber of Commerce, realizing its critical role in ensuring minority and women enterprises had the information needed to sustain their small businesses during the pandemic, reached out to communities of color and women to serve in positions of leadership. This effort resulted in the creation of one of the most diverse boards of directors in our chamber's history. Our small business community with our chamber helped our small business community with the COVID Business Resource Guide, which assisted small businesses owners navigating and assessing the various federal and local relief funds. Today, Loudon small business community is not just recovering, they are flourishing. Loudon small businesses have a remarkable potential for growth and are a key component to our economy. Today, 87% of Loudon's businesses, 87%, have fewer than 21 employees. In Loudon, we have an economic ecosystem where small businesses receive support to thrive. And our success is not just east of Route 15. In Western Loudon, our ag and related activities increased by 2.6% over the previous year. 30% of the business wins identified by our ED department occurred in our rural economy. More than $16 million in new investments and 50 new jobs. We welcome new sources of revenue in rural Loudon County as we expand and diversify. One such example is our burgeoning unmanned aerial system, or the drone industry. In the past 2 years, Loudon has become home to 15 unmanned aerial system companies, to include Xelevate and UAVonics. The nationwide emerging UAS industry will allow landowners in rural Loudon to monetize not just their land, but their air, without increasing residential housing or feeling pressure to sell their farm or build on Primax soil. Thankfully, we are also seeing the return of leisure travel, weddings, social gatherings, and sports tournaments in Loudon. Our tourism and hospitality sector, which fuels our rural economy, is showing signs of a strong recovery. Loudon continues to outpace the Washington, D.C. region as a whole and leads Northern Virginia in hotel occupancy. In fact, this past March, we hit 2019 occupancy levels for the first time since the start of the pandemic. A survey conducted by Visit Loudon showed that 82% of leisure visitors would recommend Loudon as a desirable destination, and we are. Buddy Reiser, Tony Howard, Beth Erickson, and their staff help us tell Loudon's thriving economic story. They enable us to envision Loudon's promising future and are a vital part of our community. We are pleased they could be with us tonight. Please join me as they rise so we can recognize their contributions. Although Loudon's strong small business community provides us many examples of leaders, tonight I'm going to highlight 2 business women who have positively influenced and supported thousands of other women, helping them to pursue their dreams, tap into their strengths, and believe their voice and contributions are valued and needed. In 2000, Christina Barreri became the president of Reston Limousine. In 2005, she moved the company to Sterling, and 2 years later, Ms. Barreri registered her limousine company as a woman-owned business with the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. Over the years, Ms. Barreri has grown the business, and today, Reston Limousine and Travel Service operates as one of the top 10 largest chauffeur fleets in the country. It is, yeah. It is one of Metropolitan Washington's largest providers of luxury transportation and government contract services. Now, I could talk about Christina Barreri, the businesswoman, for the next hour, but honestly, you can read about her business acumen in dozens of trade journals. The person I want to introduce you to is Christina Barreri, advocate for women and girls in Loudon and across the region. In 2016, when I assumed the gavel and became chair at large, I immediately realized that although Loudon was rightly supporting many Chamber of Commerce and business events, we were not supporting the only monthly event specifically designed to support women's businesses and our networking opportunities, the Sterling Women Business Lunch. Founded by Christina Barreri in 2008, this monthly event gathers businesswomen from across the county and the region. We network, we share best practices, we welcome a keynote speaker, we have a fantastically good time, and most importantly, Christina Barreri has given us an opportunity to support women and women-owned businesses in Loudon County. Over the years, Christina Barreri has contributed tens of thousands of dollars to our nonprofits and encouraged hundreds of people, but most especially women, to pursue their business goals, lean into their strengths, find their superpowers, and step boldly into their future. Today, Loudon proudly supports the Sterling Women Business Luncheon, just as we do so many other vital business organizations in our county. Along with Ms. Barreri, Tina Johnson has proven to be a force for good. She has worked years to support women in every arena. In her words, she believes, and I quote, "To be a strong leader, you must give back and get involved in your community," end quote. Tina Johnson has brought together thousands of women through her events and her consulting company, now known as the CEO Consulting Group. A Loudon native and former emergency room nurse, Ms. Johnson has started not one or two, but 8 small businesses in Loudon County. Much like her counterpart, Ms. Barreri, I could spend hours discussing Ms. Johnson's business success. However, I prefer to highlight her extensive philanthropic and community involvement. That includes sitting on 8 boards and nonprofits. In 2008, while serving as president of the Loudon Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Johnson also started the Women's Business Conference. Over the subsequent 11 years, the conference welcomed thousands of women. Its singular mission: to connect and empower women on their journey to own and successfully operate their own business. In addition, in 2018 and 2019, Ms. Johnson welcomed hundreds of women to a regional women's health and wellness summit where all aspects of physical and mental wellness were discussed in an informative, supportive breakout session. Today, Ms. Johnson's CEO Consulting Group holds a Women's CEO Conference. In March of this year, Ms. Johnson added to her many accolades and awards, not one, but 2 awards from the Chamber of Commerce for her leadership in the business community, especially her work with women. Both Ms. Barreri and Ms. Johnson help us tell Loudon's story of not just business success, but business women invested in serving, empowering, and most importantly, mentoring the next generation of women in the county and the region. Please join me in thanking Tina Johnson from the CEO Consulting Group and Christina Barreri from Western Limousine. Ladies, if you would both stand. As a result of the pandemic, one of the greatest challenges throughout the nation has been the disruption in the world supply chain, leading to higher prices and empty shelves. Throughout the pandemic, the entire nation realized the importance of farming and, to the extent possible, producing our own foods. In the United States, we import more than half of our fresh fruits and almost 1/3 of our fresh vegetables. Many of these goods come from countries that are not allies of America, or even good actors on the international stage. In 2017 alone, the U.S. imported $4.6 billion worth of food from China. Although we all recognize that an international economy requires importing foods and other goods, we should be equally aware that according to the 2017 United States Census of Agriculture, viable farmland in America shrank at a rate of 3.2%, which equates to about 3.3 million acres. Additionally, Virginia lost 6% of our farmland. Loudon, our farming industry has always been a vital part of our rural economy. We must protect our farmland by vowing not to build permanent structures on our prime ag soil, by encouraging landowners to put valuable farmland into conservation easement, and by adding protections through our zoning policies. It is our farmers who supply foods to Loudon's farmers markets. It is our farmers who provide safe, stable food sources in times of crisis. And it is today's farmers who are teaching the next generation of American farming families to sustain this vital economic sector. Today, two of Loudon's farmers markets, the Loudon Valley Homegrown Markets Cooperative and Eat Local, have been operating for a combined total of 16 years. Although we regularly drive by road stands and farmers markets, over the past 2 years, more people than ever have pulled over to purchase high-quality food they could not find at national grocery store chains. Many may not realize what a critical role our farming community played in Loudon's COVID response, but tonight, we are honored to recognize their vital contributions. I'd like to welcome from the Loudon Valley Homegrown Markets Cooperative, Mr. Chris Hatch, a 40-year farmer, and Mr. Jason Plybon from Eat Local, who is joining us today on behalf of the founder of Eat Local, Dan Hines, for their commitment and contribution to feeding Loudon's families during these times of historic need. Gentlemen, where are you? Stand up. While Loudon's story embraces our farming community as part of our heritage, we also continue to write new chapters in our story. This past year, our county government, for the first time, passed an ordinance that will allow for the formation of public sector unions. To be clear, no county employee is forced to join a union, nor would there ever be any repercussions if one chooses not to. However, the passing of this ordinance should be seen as a signal that the Board of Supervisors, as a body, supports the notion of collective bargaining and the creation of public unions in Loudon. The writing of this ordinance involved multiple meetings with members of the Service Employees International Union, they were the Local 512, the International Association of Firefighters, Local 3756, Loudon County staff, and Board of Supervisors staff members. I want to thank them all for their commitment during some very long and really some very tense meetings at times. We understand that county government works most effectively when we have open, clear, honest dialogue that respects the voices of our frontline workers. Loudon, I'm pleased to report that 2 weeks ago, on May 13th, the Loudon County chapter of the International Association of Firefighters made history when they became the first union in Loudon and one of the first public sector unions in the Commonwealth of Virginia to petition for certification to be the extensive bargaining unit for our exceptional, award-winning firefighters. While we know that this is simply the beginning of the process, certifying a bargaining unit is an important first step that should not only be recognized, it should be celebrated. I want to congratulate Local 3756 and pledge my commitment to work collaboratively with you to craft a strong and fair agreement. But more broadly, I want to acknowledge every county employee. Your dedicated professional public service allows your friends, your neighbors, and your family to have a better quality of life. Loudon County employees, I see you. I appreciate you. And on behalf of a grateful county, I thank you for being such an important part of Loudon's story. Like every other county in the nation, Loudon received the results of the 2020 census, which will help shape our story for the next decade. Although we all knew Loudon's growth outpaced every other county in Virginia, most were surprised, including me, at our astounding 35% increase in population over the past 10 years. With that, I know, right? With that growth, Loudon welcomes a new, more diverse population of friends and neighbors that are now an integral part of our Loudon community. Our new residents arrive in Loudon with dreams and hopes for themselves and their families. We welcome them to our schools, our neighborhoods, our places of worship, and places where we gather. Loudon is now and will always be a county that strives to meet our vision statement, to be a prosperous, inclusive, equitable, and sustainable community. We endeavor to always be a place where residents feel free to live, work, learn, and play. To fulfill the goal of living in Loudon, we need a supply of attainable homes. For an elected official in Loudon County with a high growth rate, housing is a difficult subject to discuss. When we talk about housing, the immediate response from many of our constituents is, please stop building houses. But those same constituents often follow up with, I cannot find an affordable home for my son or daughter. According to the Dallas Area Association of Realtors, Loudon County only has a 14-day supply of available homes. Loudon's Department of Economic Development, the Metropolitan Washoe Council of Governments, the Loudon Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Authority, and almost every economist agree. Attainable housing is crucial to a strong, robust economy. Of course, infrastructure to support our new development needs to be built in advance of or in conjunction with building new homes. However, as a county, we cannot claim we want the people who serve our community, our firefighters, our law enforcement, our teachers, our nurses, our wait staff. We cannot claim we want them to live in Loudon if we do not give them affordable opportunities for homes. Loudon, I'm pleased to report that for the first time, your Board of Supervisors has approved an unmet strategic housing plan. For the first time, we will endeavor to meet the challenging but achievable goal of creating 16,000 new homes by 2040. And very important, the Board of Supervisors for the first time has approved a dedicated source of revenue to achieve these goals. In the past 7 years, we have constructed, leased, or approved 728 below-market rental homes. Included in this number are 41 apartments for households with incomes at or below the 30% area median income or AMI threshold, 189 apartments for houses with incomes at or below the 50% AMI, and 498 homes for households with incomes at or below the 60% AMI. Attainable homes, but more importantly, homes for purchase, will allow more families of varying incomes to help us write the next chapter in Loudon's story. The ambitious goals of our housing strategic plan will only be realized through the continuous hard work of committed staff who believe everyone deserves a place to call home. Loudon, I'd like to introduce you to one of our most devoted staff members who has spent much of her career focused on helping families call Loudon home. Sarah Coyle-Etro has worked for Loudon for over 32 years. She began her Loudon career in planning and zoning before transferring to lead the housing division within the Family Services Department. Ms. Etro is a sought-after affordable housing practitioner. She's a sought-after practitioner, not just in the area, but in the entire region. She has served as the project manager for the creation of the county's first unmet housing needs strategic plan, and currently she serves as the housing director of the newly formed Housing and Community Development Department. Sarah is retiring after after a fruitful but impactful career with Loudon. Sarah, years from now, a young family will pick up their keys to their new home. And although they won't know that their dream of home ownership is directly linked to your work, it was. That, Sarah, is your legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in welcoming and thanking Sarah Etro and wishing her Godspeed on her retirement. Ms. Etro and our entire county staff understand that as we welcome new neighbors, our school system also welcomes new students. Although the Loudon County Public School System is an entirely different governmental agency, it is certainly a vital part of our Loudon story. Across the nation, the past 2 years have been extraordinarily difficult for educators in our public and our private schools. If like me, you spent any time in our classroom, you'll understand how challenging it is to be a teacher today. Our educators are asked to be psychologists, nurses, counselors, coaches, mentors, and for some students, the only adult to nurture the potential of a young person. If you take the time to talk to teachers, you'll realize not only do they extend themselves emotionally, all too often, they literally spend their own funds to outfit their classrooms. Just about every involved parent appreciates the commitment, devotion, care, and hard work it takes to be an educator. In Loudon, our educators are also truly fortunate to have the Loudon Education Foundation, or LEF, standing by them. For over 2 decades, LEF has had one single vision: to make Loudon County Public Schools the best public school system in the nation. Their mission statement: engage the Loudon community to invest in critical and innovative programs to foster the academic success and well-being of students and teachers in Loudon County. Understanding the personal costs educators often bear, one of the goals of LEF is to raise and donate funds directly to educators so that they don't need to use their own money to teach our children. During the 2018-2019 school year, the Loudon Education Foundation raised and donated over $2 million to Loudon schools and educators. LEF looks past the noise and, thankfully, past the politics as they focus on who really matters: the students, the parents, the educators. In addition to offering financial support for teachers and grants to fund many innovative programs, including STEM programs, LEF, a nonprofit organization, sponsors the Loudon County Schools International Youth Summit, the Regional Science and Engineering Fair, and various professional development opportunities for educators. Daniel Natler and Carrie Murphy are with us today. Wade Suzuki couldn't join us from the Loudon Education Foundation, but I'd like them to stand up and please join me in thanking them for the support they show our students and educators. In telling Loudon's story, we don't ignore the chapters we find troubling. As a community, we face hard issues head on and resolve to do better in the future. But no person or organization should ever be solely defined by their worst moments or their worst decisions. And while we should never minimize our failures or ignore the pain of a victim, it is also wholly inappropriate to make that pain political fodder. When people outside of our county decide that our worst moments or the entirety of our story, it becomes necessary to set the record straight. Loudon, ours is a record of relentless achievement. 9 of the Niche.com's top 50 high schools in Virginia are Loudon schools. Loudon has a higher percentage in the top 50 than any other school system in the Commonwealth. The LCPS class of 2021 had an on-time graduation rate of 97.6%. That is 4.6% higher than the statewide average of 93%. A team of students from Harmony Middle School recently won first place in the Odyssey of the Minds World Finals. The 2021 SAT scores for LCPS students were once again well above, in fact, state average, national averages, and the global average, and improved by an average of 9 points. Our scores improved by an average of 9 points. The average score for LCPS students was 1182. The LCPS total average exceeded the state average by 31 points and the global average by 122 points. U.S. News and World Report recently ranked all 15 eligible LCPS high schools amongst this year's best high schools in the nation. 16 teams were awarded the Virginia High School League state championships. These championships are everything from football to gymnastics, from esports to debate, and from scholastic bowl to volleyball. Stacker.com lists LCPS at number 5 in its ranking of top school divisions in Virginia. LCPS is the largest school division in Virginia in the top 5 ranking. And this past year, Ashrita Gandhari, a former student at Stonehill Middle School, was a semifinalist in the Scripps Howard National Spelling Bee. Young Miss Gandhari and everyone in Generation Z are already writing the next chapter of Loudon's story. She represents the talents, hopes, desires, and potential of so many, and she puts the story of our county and our school system in context. Ms. Gandhari, her parents, and her sister are here with us tonight. Please join me in celebrating their success. Soon, young Ms. Gandhari will experience one of the rights we as Americans hold most dear, the right to vote. The right to vote in free and fair elections with confidence that your vote will count. In Loudon, our Department of Elections, headed by Judy Brown, who, as a 37-year employee, is the longest-serving registrar in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and Ricky Keach, the Deputy Director, General Registrar, have not had one substantiated case of voter irregularity or voter fraud, not one, not ever. Unfortunately, like many elections offices around the nation, for months, Loudon's election office has been besieged with frivolous FOIA requests and unfounded allegations. Accusations that our elections department is anything but a well-run organization operated with the highest ethical standards and staffed with dedicated professionals who go about doing their job in an impartial, nonpartisan manner are false. Those accusations are false, and they should be refuted by every person who's ever been on a ballot in Loudon County. The right to vote without interference or intimidation is what countless millions of people throughout American history have fought and died for. Dr. King best describes the importance of voting, of having your vote count, when he said, and I quote, "So long as I do not firmly and irrevocably possess the right to vote, I do not possess myself. I cannot make up my mind. It is made up for me. I cannot live as a democratic citizen, observing the laws I helped to enact. I can only submit to the edict of others," unquote. Loudon, voting is fundamental. And in our county, we thank our committed election staff, not just for doing their jobs well, but for doing them with grace and dignity while rising above the baseless charges they continue to endure. Loudon, please join me in thanking Judy Brown and Ricky Keach, who are in the room with us tonight. Loudon, our story is ongoing. It's a story of a county that is not just economically strong, but whose residents will, at a moment's notice, drop everything to assist a family devastated by a fire, offer assistance to our allies seeking asylum from a war-torn country, and show up in droves in this boardroom to fight for causes they hold dear. We are a county where people from different faiths share common dreams, hopes, and aspirations. We are a county whose residents, with little fanfare and without hesitation, delivered a retiring fire truck halfway across the country to our sister county in need. We are a county with a nationally ranked public school system attended by 85% of our K-12 students. And we are a county whose response to a 100-year pandemic was literally, quite literally, the most efficient and effective in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And our award-winning county staff is the envy of staffs of counties all across the nation. Together, we have written and continue to write Loudon's story. Others may believe they know who we are, but they don't understand. The greatness of Loudon resides in the goodness of our people. And it is our people who are the only true authors of Loudon's story. For the past 2 years, we have been tested by fire, but we have emerged stronger, more resilient, and more committed than ever to Loudon's future, a bright future full of hope, vitality, and equal opportunity for every Loudon resident. This is Loudon's story. My colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, my fellow elected officials, County Administrator Hemstreet, Deputy County Administrator Yudd, County Attorney Mr. Rogers, county staff, and most especially the residents of Loudon County, it is without reservation, without hesitation, without equivocation, and without any doubt at all that I say to you, the state of Loudon County, Virginia is strong. Thank you, and I'll see you next year.